that's the nice thing. Like, you have like YouTube and like Instagram now where you can just watch videos. Like, that is probably the biggest thing that I think a lot of people are making that mistake on. They don't watch YouTube videos throughout high school. That is the way me and Lucas learned everything. Like,
100%. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the Flip Up Podcast. This is a show where it's two cymbal players talking about a bunch of random stuff, having a good time. So pretty much what this is going to be is just talking about cymbal stuff, talking about random stuff, marching things. We're going to have a lot of people on board, get some interviews, just have a good time in general. I'm Lucas.
I'm Jaden. And let me tell you, it has taken us forever to get that intro going. I think that's like what our like 20th take. So let me explain, because this is our first time recording this. So I started off doing the intro, and let me tell you, I think there was only like one good take, but we just kept messing it up. So I let Lucas start doing the intro. And what just happened with that last one?
Very first episode, and it's taken taking a couple tries, but I started recording. Everything was going great, and then had my brother walk in. But we got this thing going on right now. Thing is rolling. We're in too deep.
Exactly.
This is the podcast, episode 1.
Coming at you live from our bedrooms, because we don't have our own place, so that's what it's got to be.
This is the studio, man. We're in the studio.
Oh yeah, of course, virtually online. That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So let's actually go ahead and do some introductions. If you want to talk about you first, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. So, like I said, my name's Lucas. I've been playing cymbals for 5, 6, 7 years. Started in high school and just kept going till now. Been marching I was with Chantilly High School from Northern Virginia. After that, I went to George Mason University, stayed there up until 2020, and then the corona happened. But you know what? We're still doing cymbal-related things.
Dude, you're old now.
We're both old.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so let's date it back real quick. If 6 to 7 years, and we're in 2021 now, right? So that would mean 2014 we started, right?
Yeah.
Holy wow, dude. I feel so old right now.
Geez, the fact that it's 2021 now.
That's
time
really
flies,
weird.
guys. All you kids in high school, time flies.
Yeah, let me tell you. So also, let's just talk about the podcast real quick. So the idea of this podcast, we've been saying on this back in March, right? And I brought this up with Lucas. I was like, yo, since we got nothing going on, let's start this podcast. And let me tell you, we planned this out for the last 8 months now. Like, I think April was when we started taking actions. But, then the world started to fall to shit and everything, with, I don't want to bring it up specifically, but like with politics and then the coronavirus, it just was not a healthy environment to start a podcast. Like, it just did not feel like it was the right time. So we waited until the school year to really start getting things going, but then we got too busy. So once it hit December, we like had everything ready. It was just a matter of executing now. So here we are, 2021, starting this thing off really nice and strong.
Yeah.
And we're going to be uploading these weekly. That's the goal. But obviously, life gets in the way. And like I said, it's our podcast. So who knows? We might even upload every few days. It just depends on how busy we are. But at least we will plan to upload once a week.
Trying to get this content out to any of the people watching. Hopefully people will watch. Hopefully you get some fans out there. We'll see. But like we said in the beginning, we're just having a good time.
Yeah, actually, though, I just realized I forgot to do my intro. All right. So my intro. I am Jaden. My last name does not matter, but still a conception. I marched the same time as Lucas. Let's see here. So 2014, right? Jesus. And I started off on cymbals, of course, did cymbals all throughout high school at South County High School, which is very ironic because when I started off, it was like an A-class group, and now they're a world-class group, a world-class finalist group. Like, I just think that's insane. especially since I was there. So that's awesome to see my high school doing that. Then after my time there, I went to GMU with Lucas. That's where him and I became best buds. And yeah, March Madison Scouts 2018, did the GMU thing again. And I marched Colts in 2019. And yeah, that's my whole marching history.
I totally forgot to add on that I was also at Scouts 2018. Both marched together that summer.
Yeah, it's a great time. But we're not here to talk about our marching history after high school. We're actually going to be talking about it when we were in high school. So that will be the focus of this podcast. I feel like so many people, especially like their freshman year of high school, they're like, oh, I want to play like snare drum, or I want to play quads. Like, oh, those instruments are so cool. Let me tell you, so many people get psyched out with the first instrument they play. They think, oh yeah, like once I'm on it, like I'm married to it. But let me tell you, you got to give everything a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many cymbal players in this activity who came from like snare drum, some who even like started off on bass drum, and they ended up loving the instrument of cymbals because of how creative the instrument is in itself. So let's just talk about our marching history. So we said we started marching in 2014, which realistically was 2013 if you count like, marching band and all that
like
stuff.
the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so we're talking about WGI. We're not even talking about marching band and all that stuff. In our area, it's called AIA, which is our little, bracket. It's like the equivalent to WGI, except it's just our local bracket, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you got different ones wherever you are. I know there's one in like Texas, Florida, Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio. It's like MIPA or something.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about our freshman year. So when I started off, let me tell you, I was just happy I was considered in the battery. Like, I think I auditioned on Vibes. Like, what was your first instrument?
Really? So for me, it's actually interesting because I just finished marching. I was on trumpet in the marching band, and I just finished, and I was like, oh, what do I do now? I've got all this time. And then randomly, my section leader came up to me and is like, hey, we need a cymbal player. Do you want to do cymbals? And I was like, and I was like, tiny little freshman. And this is my section leader. He's like this really big dude. And he's like trying to talk to me about drumline. I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but I was too afraid to say no. So I was just like, sure, I'll check it out. And then I kind of just stayed. I gotta say, I was so bad that year. Like, I was tiny. I was super tiny little freshman. I got these giant cymbals that I could barely hold up. I was pretty trash even by the end of the season, but I stuck with it, and I don't know. After that, I was just in love with cymbals, I guess.
Dude, that brings up a good point, dude. I wish I could just pull up a picture right now, dude. You were like the smallest,
Oh,
little
dude, I
tiniest
was
kid.
like,
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, luckily I had a little bit of a height advantage. Like, I wasn't even 6 foot yet, but I was like, what, like 5'9", which is like somewhat
jeez.
reasonable. But let me tell you, I wish I could find footage because I was learning, battery technique versus like, horn line technique. It was like heel up and all that stuff. Let me tell you, when I was on the floor, I used to waddle. Like, I'd like go back and forth like this. It was so bad, man. I wish I had video to just show it, but like the progression from where we were to where we are now, it's just like, it's so crazy to think about it,
Oh yeah, I feel like if freshman year auditioned this year, he would have been cut for sure. I think I just got really lucky because there's no reason a tiny little person like me should have made that line. They should have put me on like vibraphone or something.
Yeah. So that actually, yeah, the vibraphone, bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I originally was like, yeah, I was like everyone else. Like, I was a trumpet player, but hey, I want to play snare and all that stuff. But it just did not work out, right? Because I've never played it before, and I auditioned on vibraphone. But let me tell you, when I was playing, I was literally like this. I kid you not. Which is ironic because when you play cymbals, you need all this wrist strength. but like I kid you not, like I was goddamn awful at vibes. Dude, the way I was like hitting, I swear it was actually pretty embarrassing. And they were like, yeah, this just isn't the move. So, I ended up doing cymbals, and let me tell you, it was probably the craziest thing of how it kind of started. So, at least at my high school, like we started off with an ensemble like in previous years, but we had a whole new percussion director, and there was like a year gap or 2 year gap where there was just no drum line. So we kind of brought the drum line back. And so things were basically just fresh out of the start, like all new staff and everything. So when I started off, like, I kid you not, like there was only one person that had played cymbals before. And it was back when it was their freshman year, and like they didn't remember anything. So like it was us and the tech, and like I kid you not, we had to teach ourselves everything in terms of like how to flip up, like technique. Like when I mean it, like you literally can learn anything if you just apply yourself and put the time into it.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, that's the situation for most cymbal players out there in high school. They just don't have techs to teach them, so they're kind of just stuck to picking up the cymbals and doing whatever they can figure out. I mean, like it's gotten better now. We have a lot more resources out there, but I feel like that story you have, Jaden, is very similar across a lot of high schools. Just trying to figure out what the heck you're supposed to do all on your own.
Yeah, I mean, piggybacking off of that, like it's really nice because I can name quite a good amount of people that like who are teaching high schools, and like they are more than qualified to teach high schools, but that's only like 5%. Like there's like 95% of the population that are like either have been played cymbals back in like the early 2000s where like the technique wasn't really finalized, right? And then there's the people that are like, yeah, I'll just teach cymbals, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's very different, the times now. Like it's crazy. Like if I had these resources when I was a freshman, I'll let me tell you, I think things would have been way different. Like I think we could have pushed this activity way farther than the way it is right now. But you got to start somewhere, and the resources you have, it kind of is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, community is growing. I mean, as you see all these resources, there's a lot more people seeing what cymbal players can actually do. So there's a lot more people getting like super excited about it. People actually think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And that's the nice thing. Like you have like YouTube and like Instagram now where you can just watch videos. Like that is probably the biggest thing that I think a lot of people are making that mistake on. They don't watch YouTube videos. And let me tell you, throughout high school, that is the way me and Lucas learned everything. Like
100%.
from doing a bucket, like YouTube and Instagram are your best friend. Like you can find anything on how to do something. And it's not even like, oh, a YouTube video on how to do it. You just got to watch how they do it. And that's how you become better at visually applying things.
Mm-hmm. Dude, all of those nights in my room with like YouTube on my bed, I just got like slow it down to like the slowest speed. I'm just trying to copy it, figuring out like what the heck are they doing?
Yeah. Which is funny because now YouTube has that, like, you can slow the video down. But when we were in high school, like, I don't even think that was around yet. I think it just came like around my senior year, like where you can
Yeah,
slow
maybe
down
like junior,
videos.
senior year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So times are different. Let me tell you, if I had this resource, I would definitely be doing stuff differently. So basically what I'm saying is like you got all these resources now, regardless of where you come from. Like you don't have to wait for that one person to say, here, this is what it is. You can really just learn on yourself. And that's the nice thing about what the new century, the 21st century, is that you have all this technology where you can just teach yourself. You don't have to read a book to like play cymbals or something like that, or you don't have to like wait for someone to teach you, which yes, it is good to have someone to teach you. Cause I know like for snare drummers, right, they have something where like they can get like tendonitis if they like play it wrong or something like that.
Yeah, they could probably get hurt.
Yeah. So it's definitely good to get taught. But in terms of like picking up on small nitpicky things on like your preps when you're going into like a crash or stuff like that. Like you can self assess yourself and clean it once you know what you're looking for by watching YouTube videos or going on
Exactly.
Instagram.
Yeah, just like the ability to copy what you see on the screen is like super helpful as a cymbal player because it's such a physical instrument where it's like everything you do is like connecting different movements using different muscles, and if you can just like stare at like a group on YouTube and be able to copy that, like that is such an extremely helpful skill to have. And especially even once you do make a group and start marching with other people copying others, like super helpful. And I think us watching YouTube videos back when we were in high school really helped us because like when we get on lines we're like, oh, I know how to kind of copy things better and I know how to apply things more quickly and stuff like that.
And I guarantee you, we probably remember, but do you remember the first video you ever watched? Like, this is the visual I want to learn. So you tried to learn it, but like you just did it wrong because you're trying to learn it.
Oh, I think it would. I think it's either Scouts in 2014 or some Mason visual.
Wait,
Because
did
I
you say
remember,
Scouts 2014? Dude.
oh wait, no, that not 14, 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scouts 15 or uh, Mason some random year. Because I remember seeing Mason do buckets, and I was like, wait, how the heck are they doing that?
Yeah, in our time, buckets were game changer our freshman year. And oh, let me also answer that question. Scouts 2015, 100%. There was this one visual where like they did this like twist around thing and then like it was like a reload flip into it. I don't know. But Scouts 2015 was definitely the one that kind of like pushed the way I perceive things. And what other shows? Colts 2016. I watched a lot of those videos, which is ironic because I marched both groups, which is absolutely awesome. GMU definitely watched a bunch of videos. I
Mm-hmm.
remember Infinity 2016. That was
Oh
a
yeah.
show I watched a lot.
Oh,
Like
I watched that so many times.
like the rotation up here to down here, that move. I
I
tried to learn that
remember.
so much.
I think we both showed up at a Mason camp, both knowing that visual
Yeah.
because we both tried to learn it in high school. It's just like the one where it's like, oh, they got their hand out the strap. That's so cool.
Yeah. That's the thing is by the time we got to Mason in 2018, like the big thing was like cymbals completely out of the hand. Like this is when juggling was really starting to take off. Like cuz juggling has been around since what like 2013, 2014, but it really started to take off um in 2018 to where we are now. Like it's insane where juggling is now, but we'll save juggling for another time because I have a complete idea of just going over juggling in a later episode.
A lot to talk about there.
Yeah. But back to the center idea. So we're back in sophomore year now because we talked about freshman year. So sophomore year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really, really wanted to play bass drum. I don't know why. No, that was my junior year. Sorry. That was my junior.
Dude, every cymbal player always wants to do bass drum at some point. It's so weird.
Yeah. So I really wanted to play bass drum and I didn't even get to audition. I know. It was so stupid. So I was literally so BM my junior year and I was like, dude, I don't want to play cymbals. But I don't know.
Man.
Yeah, I know. But like because you get to that point, it's like I don't see where this is going. And that's why everyone ends up quitting cymbals because they're like, yeah, I don't see where this is going, or yeah, I don't have the skill. But you just gotta apply yourself. Like that's literally the secret, to anything in life. Really, you just gotta go for it. um but in terms of my junior year, right, so I didn't get to audition and I was like, yeah, I don't even want to do this. um but I went through a year and then I got to my senior year and I like toughened it out, but then like there was just some energy because our senior year was really interesting.
Yeah, okay, so our schools were kind of a little bit of like rival schools, at least with drumline. I
Yeah.
don't know how or why. It might have even just been the symbol lines for some reason. I think it was just our symbol line started to get like a little good. So we were like scoping out all the other schools. And then there was his school, South County. And we are like, oh, what the heck? They're good too. And it's kind of like the second you see that, you're like, we're the only ones that are allowed to be kind of good here. So you're trying to like watch them. You're like competing a little bit in your heads. I don't think we ever said anything to each other, but
Yeah,
we were just
dude.
like watching.
I'll be honest, I had no idea who the hell you were until we took that picture before Dayton, right? We took that like little group picture with like GMU. So also another fun fact,
Oh, yeah.
we went to GMU camps in what was it, like our senior year before Doja even happened. Like we went to these camps for like their 2017 season. So we kind of like put our steps in the door. But it's funny though because I went a shoot, I can't remember what you call it. Yeah, an audition. I went an audition before Lucas. I think I went to the first one. You went to like the second one, something like that.
Yeah. We were pretty much just going just because we were in high school, so we weren't allowed to actually audition. We were kind of just going for experience and
Hmm.
because we thought it would be cool.
Yeah, which brings up another good point. If you got a world class ensemble or even like an open class ensemble that who really puts a lot of emphasis on their symbol lines, like you should definitely show up to the camps. It's not about like making the group in high school. Like I don't even think GMU takes people in high school. They used
No,
to.
they don't.
Yeah. So just going and learning things. Because let me tell you, I think I learned so much from that camp more than I did learn in just marching in high school. Like I learned
Yeah.
so much about cymbal playing. It really changes the way you
It
perceive things.
is eye-opening,
Hmm.
but it's honestly more fun then because you don't have to worry about making it because you know that you can't. So you just go
Yeah,
and have a good time.
definitely. So let's see here. We talked about freshman year and we talked briefly about senior year. So let's talk more about this rivalry. So like it wasn't even like a rivalry. It was more like we like they knew who we were, but like we knew who they were, but like we didn't really know who you were, but you guys knew who we
It was
were.
kind of like I think it was just like existing. We both existed, and then at some point, I think we didn't even say anything until when we both got to GMU audition camps for like the first year that we could actually audition.
Yeah.
And Jaden and I met up, and I was like, "Oh, who's this Jaden guy from South County? He's trying to meet up with me. He's my competition. I get this spot at Mason, but this guy's auditioning too. I can't give it to some South County boy." It's kind of something like that.
Dude, I remember my senior year of high school, I had such winner's brain, dude. Like we kept beating you in like competition.
We
Hands
did.
down though, dude, we were using like 19-inch cymbals, man. And like you guys had way better technique. You guys like had really good visuals, but like I think our coolest visual was like I don't think we ever
You
took our
guys did
hand out of
that
the
SCV
strap.
classic. I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Dude, like I kid you not, like if I knew so much more, dude, I would have applied it in high school. Like I have to just show a video at some point. Like don't get me wrong, like, I could play cymbals, but like there's so much more now that if I just knew how to do it or if I had the resources and just applied myself more, like things would have been different. But I don't regret anything I did, like I had an amazing time in high school, just wish I was able to apply myself more with the resources I had. Like I had so many opportunities, but you know,
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that goes to show how your high school career doesn't really define where you'll end up because,
hmm
I mean, even if you don't have a tech or anything, you can still, like, as we said, watch videos, rise up, kind of get good on your own. You don't really need the best high school experience to come out of like a full superstar. It's like you don't need to go to some high school in Ohio where they got best civil tech ever.